Hey, somebody came. Yeah. I'm so excited. I didn't know if anybody would come. I feel like I'm planning a party and everyone's showing up.
No, present.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm so thankful. I didn't know if anybody would show up. Oh, your picture ain't showing up. Guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. How you doing,
Hello.
lady?
Good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for signing in.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, Izzy, look at your cast. Oh, no. Ouch. Does it feel better?
Yeah.
Evening.
Good.
Hello, Mrs. Landon.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks for arranging this conference today.
Sure, you bet. I was afraid I would be on here all by myself, so.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. We are like very excited to know what we have to do and how we have to deal with our kids in this situation.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's definitely a
you.
learning curve.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wait a few more minutes and let other people get on. We're up to 50 people. That's great. I had no idea how many people would be able to join tonight. We are recording this session, so they'll be able to go back and watch it. There'll be a link. If you don't want people to be able to see your face, I understand that, but I think you should be able to, on my screen, it's the bottom left-hand corner to stop the video, and that only means then your face isn't showing, but it's nice for me to see people's heads going like this, or like this, or like, what? But,
Okay.
you know, feel free to stop the video if you need to, just to, you know, if you don't want to be recorded, I understand that. And in a few minutes here, I'll ask everybody to mute their microphones. And again, that's on the bottom left corner. If you click on that, you can also do that inside your small box. If you hover over your small box, it should say mute. And then we'll let people chime in on the chat box if they have things to ask, questions to ask. Hi, Lizzie Kurgan. So fun to see your name up there.
Where is the chat box?
So the chat box, at least on mine, I have a Chromebook. It's all the way down at the bottom. If you kind of hover across the bottom, it should pop up. And it's kind of like, looks like a speaking bubble, like on a cartoon, a bubble. Do you see it?
Okay, I see it.
Okay, so you can feel free to type in any questions during this. And otherwise, at the end, I will allow people to unmute themselves and ask questions. It's just hard depending on how many people join in to take turns and not interrupt each other. So. Thank you guys so much. Very encouraging. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and get started just to kind of respect your time. I know you guys all have busy schedules. You probably have dinners to make and all that kind of good stuff. Again, if you can mute yourself, if possible. So if you down below on the bottom left corner or right at your own picture, like I'm looking at my picture right now and there's a little blue button that says mute. And that just helps us in case there's background noise like the dogs barking or you talking to your family, it won't interrupt. So if at all possible, that would be great. Okay, I am going to next share my screen, and I have a really kind of long agenda. And as my teachers know, I talk really fast. I see Mrs. Polly's on here and she knows how fast I talk. So if I go too fast over something, let me know, but I don't want this to last too long either and to lose your interest. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me see here because this looks a little bit different than what I normally, oh, it's right here. And I'm going to pull up the agenda and give it a second here. And okay, so looks like just got to get out of that spot right there. Nope, I'm right back to seeing all your faces. Let me try this again. One more time. So technology is a blessing and a curse, right? It can be great, but it also presents challenges. I had to smile today. Our superintendent wanted to do a welcome back address with all of our staff, and they sent that out bright and early this morning, 7 o'clock this morning, and it needed to have a password, and then the password didn't work, and then she needed to share, after they shared the password, she tried some other things and everything that she'd put out there wasn't working. So it does happen even to the best of us. Dr. Savage is a fantastic superintendent and she got it figured out, but it does happen. So first of all, I'd like to thank you again for joining tonight. I know people talk a lot about the different heroes during this whole COVID-19 situation, and there really are a lot of great heroes out there. In my opinion, as an educator, the kids are the real heroes. Our kids are going through things that I can't imagine. It's a very different time. They're seeing adults and themselves having to put things over their faces and all kinds of new rules and regulations and just so many changes to their regular schedule. I just think kids are fantastic. We all know that kids rebound and do great, but I really do think kids deserve that title of heroes during this whole COVID-19 pandemic. And I do want to just say that off the bat. And I also want to just let you know that whatever you need as a family, I'm here to help support that. The school wants to partner with you. We chose to go into education. Most parents don't, and that's okay. But we want to partner with you and help you as much as we can. For us, we would love to have the kids here all day, all 5 days of the week. But as of right now, that's just not safe according to the CDC and the Illinois State Board of Education guidelines. So there are lots of ways of getting through the school year. And so we're going to talk about some of those today. And if you, like I said, have questions, you can add those to the chat, or we'll have time for questions at the end. So of course, my contact information is all there. It's also all under the Moline Schools website. If you just go to www.molineschools.org, under schools, elementary, Jane Addams is the first school listed. Our theme for this year is Welcome to the Jungle. So whether you're at home doing your learning or coming to school, our school's going to be decorated like a jungle. We're going to try to do some fun school-wide events that are done virtually as well as here in-house. So we want everyone to feel connected and part of our Jaguar jungle. Of course, our goals every school year, but especially this year, just to create that very safe and welcoming environment for the kids. And that means whether they're here in-house or at your house, right? And to support families, and then to help prepare kids for their future, their academic, social, emotional, their physical well-being, and to stay connected, right? One of the examples of that, talking about the jungle theme, is we are going to have kids walk and run laps. So they're going to be outside with their teachers walking around the building, and we're going to keep track of that. if you're doing online learning at home, you can also start a walking goal, walk around your neighborhood. You know, fresh air is so good and important for our kids. And keep track of that. Turn your times in, the distance you've traveled, whether it's so many blocks or a mile, and we will add that up. And hopefully during the school year, we can travel across the Amazon rainforest and see how far we get across the jungle. So that's just one example of how we want people to stay connected and be a part of this, whether they're at home or here at school. So what is that school year going to look like for your child? It could be blended learning, where they come for 2 days a week and they study at home for 3 days. That's set up by the letters of their last name. So the A through L families are here on Mondays and Tuesdays, and the M through Z families come on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and everyone has online learning on Fridays. So somebody asked me, does that mean my child whose last name is R doesn't have to go to school on Mondays and Tuesdays? No, they will have online assignments on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then come in person Wednesday, Thursday, and have online assignments on Friday. Other people will be doing all online learning, correct? That means they'll work at home all 5 of those school days. Regardless, everyone will have a Chromebook that they will use at home or at school. Those online learners will be provided with math workbooks and reading workbooks, or the unit, 1 unit at a time. And both sets of students will have teachers that really care about them. So I want you to know that they're a part of a class and they have a teacher that cares about them and wants to connect with them. Online learning for this school year, whether again it's blended learners or all online, will be a 2.0 version. That's something that Dr. Savage has been using with us. And that just means that we're going to, you know, we got through last school year, March and April and May, we got through that year and we did review. And I was really proud of our Jane Addams staff and our students. Again, those kids were heroes. They did a great job. But now this year, we're starting off with a new situation. And there's going to have to be a lot of new learning. We were able to do a lot of review last quarter. So this school quarter, it will be new learning. And so we're going to have to take it up a notch. The teachers are going to have to stretch and try new things, and we're going to ask families to do the same. Again, all the lessons will be on the hub. The website is included here. I'll send this out via email after our meeting. Probably tomorrow morning, I'll share this via email. But all of our lessons and information are on the hub, and that'll be located on the Moline Schools website, and that will be starting next week, August 24th. The hub will go live. We are going to try to teach new learning this school year. Students will need to check in every day and answer a question of the day. That's their attendance procedure. Students will have assignments that are due and need to be turned in, whether in person or online. Grades are going to be given. So last spring, the state of Illinois said we could do a pass or a incomplete grade. This year, you'll get a reading grade, a math grade. Each of those areas will have grades assigned to them, along with the specialists like PE, art. So please make sure your child is doing all of those required classes. Weekly Google Meets. So we hope to meet with kids every week for sure. And also online learners will have an additional weekly meeting. And that could even be via small group with the teacher, but we'll definitely be reaching out and contacting them. I use Zoom tonight, but we hope to use Google Meets in the future. The reason I did Zoom is because I could get up to 500 people on here if we needed to, where Google Meets has a smaller capacity. But the students will learn how to use Google Meets, and we'll share with you families, with all the families, on how to get your child into their Google account and to do a Google Meets. A few questions. Let's see if I can pull those up and ask. Oh, they disappeared. Let's see. I'm not seeing them, so let me see. All right. So our you will also get contact and support from other school staff. We have our interventionist, our instructional coach. We will be reaching out. We may be doing online lessons. So if your child comes on Mondays and Tuesdays here, maybe on Wednesdays and Thursdays, there's a teacher that meets with them and does a reading lesson with them also. So again, since they are going to have their own computers, that will be a lot easier. And I also want to remind everybody, if you need internet, you just need to reach out to me. The district has the ability to hook you up with MediaCom if you're not in a current contract, and if you meet certain guidelines. And if you don't meet those guidelines, we also have what are called hotspots. And those are things that you just plug into the wall and it provides free internet so the kids can connect their computer to it and connect to their classroom. So those are all ways that we want to connect with you. Just a reminder, if you do email a staff member after 3:30 in the day, sometimes they might not get back to you to the next day. Some of our teachers are going home and being teachers themselves at night. And so they're not always able to check email in the evening, but they will get back to you the next day. So I bet the kids are wondering, how am I going to meet my teacher, right? So on Wednesday, all the teachers will be sending out a hello email to the parents' email accounts. If you do not have a current email address on file, please reach out to me or the school office as soon as possible for a way to contact you. If you don't hear anything by the end of the day Wednesday from a teacher, that means your email address is outdated, or maybe that email went to your junk mail. If whatever you do by the end of the day Wednesday, if you don't hear from us, please let me know. Reach out to the front office and we will follow up with you. So your child will know, this is my teacher, these are the expectations they have for me, and they'll explain other things about their classroom and hopefully provide a lot more clarity to what their school year will look like. We'd also like you to, if you're interested, come to our reverse parade. We did this at the end of the school year and it was really fun for staff and students. All the staff will stand in the middle of our parking lot and we'll hold up posters telling our name and what grade we teach or what our position is. So I will have a Mrs. Landon principal. And you can, as parents, drive in the parking lot and drive out of the parking lot, making sure to wave and to honk. It's just a lot of fun for us to see the kids. And if the kids want to make signs telling their name and what grade they're going to be in, we would love that too. We are going to be working something out with our incoming kindergarten families. So if you're coming into kindergarten, we're going to reach out to you about in-person visits. And if you're new to the building or the district, I think I see a few new faces there. You've just moved to Jane Addams, yeah? I would like you to reach out to me after this and set up a time to come in and tour the building, okay? We just have to keep those numbers small. Okay. You raised your hand, I don't know what to do. You can unmute yourself and talk if you would like. Is there anyone that has something they want to share? Will each teacher send instructional videos prior to asking the students to complete the assignments, eliminating the idea that knows?
I do have a question actually.
Sure.
Yeah, regarding new kindergartners, you said like we have a in-person meeting or in-person visit. Like how does it work? Like
so I'm going to, right. So we just came up with that. So today was my first day with staff. So today was the first day I really had to sit down and talk with kindergarten teachers. So it's going to be on Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm going to email all of our new kindergarten families and explain it. We'll have some times for our remote learners to come in, our online learners, and we'll also have times for our in-person learners to come in. And if you feel uncomfortable coming in, we understand that. For those kindergarten visits, we're asking for one parent and one child and everyone to wear masks. So more information will be coming. So.
I got a question.
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they we was just had a question. We was typing in the chat. This is a lecture of Case's mother and her aunt Courtney here. And we just had a question of what was the question, Court?
Are you guys gonna have an unpacked book bag night, or are they gonna bring them just the first day?
Just on the first day to bring their supplies. That's a great question. So that's the hard thing. That's why we're doing that reverse parade as a way for them to see who their teacher is. When the teacher sends you an email, they might even send a video and give a tour of the classroom on the video, or they might send a picture of their face so you can recognize them. The reason we're not doing Unpack Your Backpack Night is just because of the sheer numbers in the building. It just wouldn't be safe for us to have that many people and to try to manage that. So I do apologize that there's no Unpack Your Backpack Night.
And I have another question. Is she still gonna get help with speech?
Yes, everyone, if they have an IEP, they will still get help. Some of it might have to be done via like Google Meets or like this through a Zoom session, and some of it will also be in person. So yes, they have an IEP of any kind, they will get those services.
I have one last question. Sorry.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could email me what her new teacher was, because we won't be able to make the parade.
Okay, so on Wednesday, I just shared on Wednesday, all the teachers will email all the families. So that's when you'll find out who your teacher is.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you bet. So on Wednesday, that's when they're going to send that hello email to your account. Those are great questions. Okay, so when's the first day of school, right? So on Monday, August 24th, it'll be for our A scheduled students. That's the A through L for their last name. And that's when they're going to receive their Chromebook. The B schedule is, they'll get a few extra days of vacation in, kind of. The teacher might send an email and ask them to do a little get to know you activity. But really, truly, their learning will start on Wednesday. So the B schedule kids, they start on Wednesday, August 26th. And that's when they're going to get their Chromebooks. Online learners, you could take a few days off in that week if you need to, but we are using that week to get to know kids and families, and you will have some assignments on the hub and you'll be able to access them. We are having online pickup days where you can come to the school and pick up your Chromebook and your math and reading workbook pages. The times are listed here, and we're going to be putting these, we're going to send this out via email. We're going to put it on our Facebook page. There's a Jane Addams Facebook page. And we just keep looking for ways to let you know what's happening, right? Because this is a busy week. So it'll be Thursday evening from 4 to 6. You can pull up and tell your student's name and teacher, and we'll give you the supplies, the Chromebook and the math and reading. On Friday morning from 8 to 10, same thing. You can pull up in front of the school. There'll be somebody out there to hear your name and bring you the supplies. And if those days don't work, then you just email me and I will set up a separate time with you to get the Chromebook and the math and reading workbook, okay? Everyone else will get those from their teacher when they come on their first day. So again, August 24th for the first group, August 26th for the second group, and this week on Thursday and Friday for the online learners, okay? And again, like I said, I'll post this and send this out via email so you can read over it in more detail. If your child is a blended learner, where do they start the day? So we're starting our morning a little bit differently out there. We want to physically distance kids if possible. So when your teacher sends you that email on Wednesday, they're going to explain where your child goes on their first day of school. Okay, does someone have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So like if they start an online school, they start at 8 o'clock, and then like how about the kids will be late, what happens?
Okay, so for if you're all online, you can there's not such a thing as like being late. You're not going to be marked tardy if you don't log in by a certain time. So basically, as long as you're getting logged in by that afternoon and answering your questions and doing your assignments, you will be marked as being here at school.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That makes sense? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another question? So the way our morning procedure is going to work is we are spreading kids out at each of the different doors. So that way we can keep more physically distant, and we can check temperatures before kids enter the school. We want to keep families safe. So we're going to check temperatures that way. So Again, more information will be coming from the teacher, but if they come to Y Care, the YMCA, or if they eat breakfast, they can come through the front doors. Third graders will come down on that's actually say West End doors. That's down by the modular unit. Fourth and fifth graders will go out to the intermediate recess lines, and that'll be marked for them. Kindergarten and first grade, Hillier and Mrs. Pilichowski's first grade will go to the primary recess lines. And again, we'll show you a map. We're going to share that with you. And then Mrs. Cabbage's first grade and both second grades go to the east doors that walk up to this neighborhood. So that's on this end of the building. Again, when you see the map, it'll make a lot more sense. You might want to know what the start times are. Again, school starts, if you come to the Y Care, if you sign up through the YMCA, you can be here at 6:30. If you're coming to breakfast, you can be here at 7:20. You come to the front door. All other children will go to their entry door, and at 7:45, they'll have their temperatures taken and can go straight to the classroom, okay? We ask children to come wearing their masks and to keep their masks on while they're outside and to stay 6 feet apart from each other. So we'll be also working on those things. It's hard for kids to stay apart, but we're gonna help them practice that. All right, and then the Tardy Bell is at 7:55. So if they get here late, they'll need to buzz in through the front door. We're asking that there's no parents or adults that come in to sign them in like in the past. Really, we don't want any visitors or adults in the building unless you've scheduled an appointment to come in. So I know it's hard not to walk your child into the classroom and to get them settled, but you're going to have to stay outside of the building unless there's a very severe emergency. We just don't want to get extra bodies into the building. We want to minimize that exposure for everybody and keep everyone safe. And then dismissal procedures, again, those are going to kind of be staggered, and we want to physically distance students. So at 12 o'clock, walkers are going to be dismissed. So if they are walking home, or if you park your car across the street at the church lot or down in the court, you can walk over and get your child at 12 o'clock, and they'll come walking out. K2 will come out the front doors. Third, fourth, and fifth grade will come out the west end doors. And again, we're going to share all this in a map, so that should help. At 12:05, if we have car riders who pull up to the orange cones, we will call you. We're going to give you each piece of paper with your family's name on it, and you can put it up in your window, and we'll radio in that you're here ready to pick up your child, and we'll send your child out from the classroom. And then by 12:10, students that are staying for lunch or going to Y Care will go down to the lunchroom. If they are riding the Metrolink bus home, they'll need to stay here and have lunch here at school. So lunch is 12:10 to 12:40. Some of you might have heard about intervention time. That's an extra hour at the end of the day that we're going to start probably several weeks into the school year, so probably won't start until September. But if children are struggling academically, then so if children are struggling academically, they can stay an extra hour to get help with reading or math. And so Mrs. Pauly, she's our instructional coach, she'll contact parents and let you know if your child qualifies for that. So that'll be after Labor Day weekend. Okay. Okay, and so school supplies, some people have asked about school supplies. There is a list on the website. You do not need as many supplies if you're an online learner. You can just keep your things at home. If you are a blended learner, you just bring your supplies on the first day of school, and you still would want to keep some things at home like pencils and paper. Okay, I had a few people raise their hands if they want to unmute and ask questions.
Yes, my niece, Electra, she was approved last year for the extra help, so will she still be approved this year?
Mrs. Pauly will reach out to you. Yeah, she'll send you an email about it. And again, that won't start until after Labor Day weekend. But yes, she
Okay,
should
so
probably still
12:40
qualify.
will be pickup?
So then the pickup time would be 1:40.
Okay, but for now, 12:40?
Yep, 12:40, yes.
Okay.
Question. Anybody else?
So like we say that our kids will like do online school,
Yes.
and like how about if we change our mind later on?
So that's a good question. So if you have chose all online, you have to stay all online for the whole first quarter. The reason for this is that we have arranged the classrooms and moved the desks apart to accommodate the children who said they will come in person, okay? So you have to wait to the end of first quarter, and then at the end of first quarter, you can change your mind and you can come to school. If you said you're still coming to school, so like let's say you did not say that you're opting out, you said you want to come, but let's say the COVID numbers are getting bad and the numbers are going up, then you call the school office and make an appointment with me to do all online learning, okay? So you can do all online learning that way if you want, but we can't go the other way if you've already said you're staying home. So we can't switch back that direction, so. Okay.
Okay.
Somebody needs to maybe mute their, I don't know who it is. Let me see if I can find, I think we need somebody to mute. Oh. I think I found it. Okay. It's hard because we just get the feedback.
Hi, can I have a question, please?
Sure.
I have like my baby, she got on study online, and I have a question. This is her first grader, and if I have like hard time like with the study to her, like do the teacher can help me with it?
Of course, yes, yes. And that's one of the things that's why we need to have a good email address and a good way to reach you, because we want to help you. We realize that's really hard for parents, so we definitely want to help.
Okay, I have the email already, but like how do I text message to the teacher, or do I call the school, or what I should do?
So when you have a problem, when the child is struggling in an area, then you email the teacher and say, my child does not understand how to, I don't know, maybe how to do the 2-digit addition and subtraction. And so then you share that with the teacher, and then the teacher can do just like we're doing now. The teacher can have a one-to-one meeting with you and the child and help them.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Okay, we're just about done. We're getting there. So we talked about school supplies. If you ordered one of those kits through PTA, thank you. They are waiting in your new classroom. Blended learners can pick those up on the first day, and online learners will pick them up on the online pickup day, which is Thursday night or Friday morning. And then safety protocols, I just want to reassure you, we're following all CDC and ISB guidance. Staff self-certify every morning and take their own temperatures. Students get their temperatures before they enter the building. Everyone wears masks. We will provide mask breaks during the day outside. Students can go outside, spread 6 feet apart, and have a mask break. And the teachers will be explaining that. We want to focus on physical distancing, not social distancing. We need to connect socially, just like we're doing now, but we want people to be physically distanced from each other, okay? So we're going to work on that. We ask that the children bring water bottles to the school. There's no drinking faucets available, but they bring a water bottle and they can fill up their water bottle if necessary. In the lunchroom for lunchtime, students will sit at desks all facing the same direction. So that will minimize the concern about spreading. Since COVID is airborne, we want to protect kids and we spread the desks apart. And then just for normal safety, we have doors locked 24/7. You have to buzz to come in through the front door, and safety drills are practiced with the students. So we just try as much as we can to keep kids safe here. So here's some questions that you might be thinking about, and you maybe have more that are coming up, but what if you need to switch your learning days? Maybe you are the letter B, but it works better for you in terms of your transportation and daycare to come on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Please reach out to me and do it as soon as possible, because we're trying to balance the classrooms and we're trying to make equal numbers. Some days there's only 4 kids in a room, And then the next day there's 11 kids in the room. So we're trying to balance these numbers, and we're hoping to finalize that in the next 24 hours. So please let me know if you need to switch. If you get uncomfortable with the COVID numbers, if the numbers go up, you can reach out to me and opt for all online learning. If you need help with online learning, just like that parent asked, your teacher's available every day, every afternoon. They have time in their schedule to help families and parents. So just reach out to us and we will get back to you. If you do not have internet access besides your telephone, please reach out to us and we can work with you to get internet, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Let's see here. I'll stop the share and then I'll see about these questions. So somebody asked about the type of activities are required for the blended learners in classroom days to complete the additional 45 minutes of learning. So the types of activities that will be assigned are usually the specialist, which would be art, music, library, PE, and then also our, we have a school counselor here every day now. And so one of the days of the week, you will also have a lesson from the school counselor. So that should help complete that total learning day of 5 hours. So I see my teachers are chiming in and helping me out. Thank you guys. Will the child be counted absent if there happens to be an internet issue? No, you just reach out to us afterwards and let us know we were without internet. You know, we all had that big storm that went through last week, and that's kind of also put us behind in terms of getting out information. So no, just reach out and let us know. You know, use a phone, telephone, and call us and let us know. We'll mark them as an excused absence and follow up with you the next day. Somebody asked how many hours can they work online every day. The guidance is to have 5 hours of instruction, but does that mean they're on a computer for 5 hours? Definitely not. So a child might have an assignment to read something and then to do a writing assignment, and the writing might just be paper pencil, and then they maybe are going to take a picture of it and upload it and send it to the teacher. They might also, like in kindergarten, one of the assignments might be practice writing your name. For PE, they're going to learn a PE skill and practice that. So again, there's going to be assignments and direction on the hub, and then the work in doing that should fall within that 5 hour guideline. Some families might find they get it done in a much shorter time than 5 hours. I would guess so. I would guess it wouldn't take a full 5 hours to complete, but just know, like, we do want to provide a lot of instruction for your child. And honestly, we're working on that too. We're working at getting better at that. Somebody talked about this Chromebooks from the spring. You can do that when you pick up your new Chromebook. So that means if you're in person or blended learning, you can bring your old Chromebook back to the building. Or if you're all online and you have an old Chromebook from the spring, please bring that in the pull up process. You'll pull up to the front doors. Somebody will be outside and we will take the old one and bring you out your new one. Somebody else also asked for online learning days, is there a requirement to be completed by a certain time? We usually ask by midnight that night, but again, we can be flexible. So like maybe your family had to go to grandma's for 2 days because there was nobody to provide childcare. If you let us know, we can give you a few days extension to get that work done and turn in. We want to be very flexible, so just let us know. The Chromebooks will be already set up. The children will get a sheet that explains how to use it along with their password and their passcode to get in. So that's another good question. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. These are really good questions, guys. Unless you opted out, children are automatically signed. Yes, that's a super good question. So unless you already went in and opted out, that deadline was Friday night at 7 p.m. If you have not done that, we are expecting to see your child here next week. If you, like I said, feel differently, you need to reach out and let me know as soon as possible because we're expecting that they're going to be here. So, will blended students have individual desks for supplies or desk limited and shared? No, we really want to, so teachers are trying to make things as individualized as possible. Their own supplies stay in their own desk. If they do have a table, they have their own tub and they have their own supplies. It's not shared with other children. So we're just trying to minimize the amount of adults in and out of the room. Children no longer walk down to a computer lab and go in and out of a computer lab. Children no longer intermingle at a recess time. You know, it's just very different. We're just trying as much as possible to reduce exposure of kids while they're here at school and to protect school staff. So when it comes to materials, the teachers have really been thinking outside the box about how to have the materials that each kid needs without having them touch 100 things for each other. Teachers also received direction today. Like I said, this was their first day back today. They received direction like each hour, the kids should either be going to wash hands or sanitizing. If you want to send sanitizer with your child, you're able to do that, but each classroom has sanitizer as much as they need in the classroom. So we definitely want to work with them and keep them safe. Somebody else asked about school supplies. Yes, you can find that on the district website. Go to www.molineschools.org and under schools, look under elementary, and Jane Addams is the first school listed. And if you just scroll down past the Zoom meeting, I've listed all the supplies. And if your daughter's new here with us in 5th grade, if you could also send me an email to tlandon, T-L-A-N-D-O-N at Moline Schools, I'd like to offer a tour of the building. So let's see. And again, we have
Miss Landon,
yes, go ahead.
we had a question. She has school supplies from last year because she didn't finish out the year. Can
Yes.
we pick them up like next Wednesday when she starts?
Yes, those will be
Okay.
in her room waiting for her.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, so if you didn't opt your children out and you didn't sign a form, they will be registered in class, but for 2 days a week, right? So they're just coming for the 2 days according to their last name. And if you want to call me even later, I'm here at the school office. You can call the school phone number and I can talk to you about that if you have questions. How many hours of online learning for kindergarten? So if you're a kindergarten child, again, the recommendation is a total of 5 hours, but we all know little kids won't be able to do that. A kindergarten teacher would have them up and moving, doing creative play. So a kindergarten teacher might say, I would like them to do creative play at home with their Legos or blocks for 30 minutes. You know, they're just going to have to be really flexible with that. Kindergarten's a different beast. So
I have a question.
go ahead.
So my children are going to do the Y Care too.
Okay.
And supplies, do they keep some in their book bags so they can have them for Y Care too?
I
Because
think
you said some of that their supplies are going to stay in their desk, but if they need some for Y Care, how would we do that?
so. As I would foresee it, the only supplies that they would need for Y Care would be their actual Chromebook themselves, and they'll have access to that. If a child would need like crayons or scissors, I'll work with the Y Care staff and we'll make individual Y Care bags for those kids with their own supplies. And we've had some things donated here, so we will use those items. So that way, if your child goes to Y Care and needs pencils, then they will have their own little Y Care bag with pencils that just your child will use. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
It's a good point. And I have been talking to the Y Care people. They are going to make them wear the masks here. I understand up at the YMCA this summer they did not, but the children will have to wear the masks here. Sadly, we can't let kids play on the playground here, but we're going to have a set of like equipment and balls that they can sanitize every day. So that way they can at least get some outside play. I mean, we think fresh air and being outside is so important. It just kills us to not let them be on that playground. So when I say playground, I mean, we can let them be on the grass and on the blacktop, but they're not supposed to be on the equipment, on the monkey bars, the slides. If you choose to bring your child here on off school hours and let your child play, that's okay with me. I'm not going to be out there and yell at you, trust me. But the CDC guidelines are when they're here at school, we don't want them touching that. It just would be too much for us to constantly sanitize that and keep that safe, because as we all know, kids touch things and then touch their mouth, and so it's a safety concern. Somebody asked, do we need to send in supplies for the students or 100% remote? No, you just keep those supplies at home. If they're all doing online learning at home, you keep the supplies. You're the schoolhouse. That's a good question. Anybody else? You can unmute and ask. Anyone? What's the starting time for online students? Again, that's flexible. We'd like them preferably, you know, by noon to at least have done the question of the day. But again, your situation might be different where they have to go to a babysitter's during the day and then you're doing work with them in the afternoon or evening. So again, if possible, try to get them to log in the morning and to do their question of the day and start to turn in their assignments. But there's a lot of flexibility. So they have that school day. Well, I shouldn't say school day. They have that physical day to get things done. So there's not an official start time for online students. They can sleep in. Any other questions? Good questions.
Mrs. Lee, a question that I don't think got answered that kind of got buried in the chat. Somebody said, except for the daily attendance question, can students complete the weekly assignments early and be done for the week before Friday?
So yeah, we've talked about that as a staff a lot too. To some extent they can, but still each day they will have to get on and do their work for the day. So some of that work won't be available to that day. Some of the bigger assignments you could look ahead and get some of those things done, but some of those things on the hub, like if you look ahead to Friday and it's only Tuesday, you might not have access to that. So I understand the kind of the thrill of putting in like a couple of 12-hour days and then having the rest of the week off, but I don't know if that's always necessarily what's best for kids, if it's better for kids to have a little bit of instruction every day. I feel like that mirrors what we do in a regular school even more. But if your family needs to do that for some reason, please reach out to me. I mean, you know, we want to work with you and be flexible. So yeah, ask them about buses. And so there's a Metrolink bus that runs at 12:40. So Cassie, Mrs. Cabbage, our first grade teacher, had mentioned that teachers are creating a pace that mirrors the in-class instruction. It would be something to talk about with your child's teacher if there's a special circumstance. So Mrs. Cabbage, that's well said. We want to try to mirror as much as possible. So we prefer you not to do that, to work ahead and get it all done on one day.
Now,
I know there's some kids out there.
Now with Electra, we'll be picking her up across the street. Will you guys just send her over there?
No, we can't let anybody cross 53rd Avenue. Well, I guess I shouldn't say no. We need to find out when the crossing guard is there. If there's a crossing guard that can cross her, then she can be sent across. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised because our parking lot will have half the cars in it. So it'll be way easier to pull in and pull up to the cone. So I prefer if you do that. Otherwise, if you want to park in the church and walk over, we can release her as a walker and she can be released a little early. So.
Okay, because I'm just saying, because the weeks I have my daughter, I got to be down to her school by 1, a little after 1.
Yeah. So again, you know, if she's staying for lunch, she'll be done by 12:40. If she's leaving before lunch, she'll be done at 12:10. So that should still work out. What happens if your daughter wants to take a break and log out and sign? Yes, they can do that. Definitely, we want kids to take breaks. We want them to get fresh air. We want them to do creative play. So we don't want them just sitting in front of a computer all day. If you see your kid doing that, something's wrong. They might tell you they're doing online school, but it's not really online school. We don't want kids glued to a computer all day. It's not what's best for them. So please make sure that they get off the computer and read a book. Practice reading it out loud. Make sure they get off the computer and run around the house and help us reach our way across the jungle, okay? You have to encourage your child to get off that because honestly, technology is very addictive. And so that's a concern for us as educators that we're only feeding into that addiction. So please make them take breaks. Are all the teachers using Class Dojo? I think most of them will be. We are incorporating a new app in the district called Remind, and it's a way to do text messages kind of like Class Dojo was. So again, that will roll out later. I have noticed that a lot of teachers are setting up their Class Dojos it's just the biggest feedback that we received after last spring was there was too many things for families, right? Hard. Like you have to get onto the hub, and then you have to get into their Google Classroom and like get onto this app and log into this. And so we're trying to minimize that. But Class Dojo has been a great way to share information and to get the word out. So for right now, many teachers are using Class Dojo. So somebody else asked about library books. If you are a at-home learner, an online learner, we just encourage you to use the Moline Public Library. But the students that come for in-person learning here 2 days a week will be doing a contactless checkout. Mrs. Ocean will be having them check books, choose books on the computer, and then they'll be delivered to the classrooms. And so that way the children aren't walking through the library touching everything. So if that's successful and we can roll that out to our online families, we will do that at a later date. But right now, we're just going to start with meeting the needs of the kids here in person. But we do have like a reading A to Z license where kids can read books online. And if your kid needs more reading material and you're struggling with that and you can't get to the Moline Public Library, please reach out to me. I will 100% work with you to get them books. Books are my favorite, so I'll do whatever I can to help. Anything else? Somebody asked if they miss a day, how can they make it up? So like, let's say your child wakes up on Tuesday and doesn't feel well and they're an online learner. So you could just email the teacher and say, I'm sorry, my child is feeling sick today and I will get caught up on the work tomorrow. And then on the next day on Wednesday, if your child is feeling better, please go back into the Tuesday hub and you can complete the Tuesday work, okay? We're just asking for some kind of contact so the classroom teacher knows why that child hasn't checked in. If your child's not coming in person for a day, if they're a Monday, Tuesday child and they can't come in because they're not feeling well, please keep them home. Just again, call the school office or email the teacher. We're going to track absences and track, you know, what those symptoms are. So if you call them in sick, we're going to ask a lot of questions like, do they have a temp and the sore throat? And yeah, it might just be strep throat, but if it's COVID, we want to know and we want to, you know, nip that in the bud or make sure that we protect that classroom. So we have a lot of procedures put in place for that. Any other questions?
What are the procedures that would take if someone was positive?
Okay, so if you're talking a student or a teacher that are positive, I'll explain both. So
Both.
if it, okay, so if a teacher finds out they're positive, hopefully they won't have had come into school, but if a teacher finds out that they've tested positive, then our human resource department has an entire procedure that they follow in terms of contact tracing and notifying people that have come in close contact with that teacher, okay? If a child is found to be positive, it's the same kind of thing, only it's handled here within the building. There's a note that will go home and there will be an outreach to parents to let them know somebody's contacted this in your classroom and these are the steps we'd like you to take. There is always the possibility that if a child or a teacher does come down with COVID, that class will have to go to online learning for a period of time, a quarantine period of time. Usually, I think the CDC says 14 days. So.
Thank you.
Yes, good question. Somebody asked if everything's on the hub. Yes, everything's on the hub. We'll have Tuesday and Thursday folders. For online learning, that's a good question. I think on our website, we are going to have under the Moline Schools, under www Moline Schools, under schools, elementary, Jane Addams, we're going to have a tab that says Thursday folders. So you can click on that at any time and everything that goes home in a Thursday folder will be uploaded there and you can read that at home. Will students be able to bring snacks? That's a really good question. We talked about that a lot today with our teachers too. That was a point. I think yes, because that's a long morning from 8 to 12:10. That's 7:55 to 12:10. That's a long time for kids with hungry tummies. So we talked about taking them outside for a mask break and a snack break, right? So they could take their snack. Hi. and going outside and spreading 6 feet apart in the grass. We talked about sending beach towels to school with your kids so they can have a beach towel to lay on. And the teacher can maybe do a read aloud, or maybe they'll do like a class meeting at that time. But we wanted them to get fresh air and to get a chance to have a snack and recharge for the day. So we do encourage snacks.
That's awesome.
We probably can't do birthday treats though. So I'm sure my waistline will thank everybody for it, but it's kind of sad. Kids love bringing in a treat for their birthday. As of right now, we're just going to hold off until we kind of get a chance to see what this in-person learning looks like also. We just want to keep people safe. If it's something that's packaged and can be wiped off and handed out, we might be able to do it down the road, but for right now, we're holding off on birthday treats. So sad. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, quick question. You mentioned that if there is any COVID found, that the students, or if it was a teacher or if it was a student, that you do the contact tracing and everything. Is that just going to be for the individuals that were in that classroom, or does everybody in the school basically get informed that, hey, there's been a case and
right,
here's what we're doing about it?
That's an excellent question. For right now, so we have increased nursing hours. We'll have a nurse here from 7:30 in the morning until after dismissal time. So they've increased the nursing hours for everyone in the district. And kind of what the procedure that they have worked out is, for the most part, it's going to be if they've had some kind of close contact. So that means if they've been a part of that classroom, that classroom will be who we notify. Now, if it's somebody like me who ends up with COVID, I'm hoping I have fairly close contact with everybody. I know our goal is to minimize contact, but I don't know how that's possible in my situation. So if I end up with it, then we're gonna let you all know, you know, it's much more widespread. But each classroom is given a partner. So like for instance, Mrs. Pauley, she's partnered with a classroom teacher with like Mrs. Cabbage. And so those are really the two adults that are in and out of that room. So that class is really pretty self-contained, and we try not to spread exposure farther than that. Does that make sense? So you might not know about it if, you know, just somebody in first grade ends up with it in that classroom setting. We also have to respect confidentiality and HIPAA a little bit there too. So we do want to protect people, but we also want to inform you so you can make good decisions about your own child's health. So okay, we're going to walk that fine line. For students who start on the 26th, do they have to do online learning on Monday and Tuesday? I think they get those days off kind of. The teachers in the email will explain. What I'm asking teachers to do is to give like a fun, like get to know me kind of thing. So maybe they'll create like a little poster about themselves, or create a bag where they could show some things about themselves to bring to school on that Wednesday and Thursday. But they won't have any online learning requirements on Monday and Tuesday. They get a few extra days of summer. Don't tell anybody else. They're the only ones. And somebody else asked about a Halloween party or a Christmas program. I don't know. We talked about that today too at our staff meeting. We are hopeful that things turn around and things improve. If we're able to do special events, we'll also do them virtually and include our online families too. So I will just have to keep you posted. That's a great question. No answer to that one. And somebody else asked about recess. So we are not, in a traditional sense, having recess. We are having outside breaks a couple of times a day. So one would be a mask break where the kids would go outside and maybe sit under the tree and take their mask off and eat their snack or read a book. The other time of the day, the teachers are going to sign up for them to go out and do, we kind of have this school-wide goal of running and walking a certain distance. So instead of recess, we're going to have kids go out, and we're not going to force them to run. We're just going to go out and we're going to encourage them and see how far they can get, and they can track their miles. The upper grades, they'll keep track and they'll log that and kind of, you know, encourage themselves to be more competitive and get farther every day. The lower grades will probably be much more like just a casual stroll around the building, but we do want them to get outside in some way. After the first few weeks of school, if we find that we're able to send them out in small groups and have recess, so like maybe just the fifth graders, like that day we maybe have 6 in one class and 8 in the other, and we feel like we can send them outside and keep them socially distanced enough to not be mixing with their equipment. Like if we can have enough balls and ropes, jump ropes, we will do that. Because like I said, we believe in recess. That's huge. Kids love it and it's good for them. But we also have to try to find ways to avoid them contaminating other kids unnecessarily. So. Any other questions? Are you guys tired? Tired?
Just want to say thank you for everything that you do and all the teachers too.
You bet. You bet. I see somebody has their hand raised. Is it Heather? Go ahead. Oh, you're just saying, okay, thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys. You know, this is definitely a different format, but I appreciate you doing it with me. I was seriously so nervous about this. I thought I was going to pass out before we got started, but you've all been very sweet. You've been very accommodating. Keep those questions coming. Even if you didn't get your question answered here, send me an email and reach out to me. But we are very excited to have you here at Jane Addams. So whether you're at home at Jane Addams or here at Jane Addams, you're all part of the Jane Addams family. So, all right, thanks again. And thank you to the teachers who helped me out. I appreciate you guys. Thanks everybody. Thanks for your patience. Tell the kids I said hi.
Hi, Mrs. Landon.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
We
Good.
miss you.
Miss you.
No, we'll have to talk on the phone sometime.
I know, absolutely.
All right. Thanks.
See you
guys.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks again. Bye. Thank you.